Hi, so today I'm going to talk to you about the three responses that the training director, should give back to the three trainers that we talked about in our first setting, doing this with our last class. So to begin with, the first trainer walked in with an attitude, and I think right away that should have been addressed. Probably trying to take somewhat of a sensitive approach, and getting some feedback on occasion can be kind of difficult emotionally to handle, so you really want to put them at ease. So what I would have done in her position is to tell him that this is honest feedback, but it's designed for a positive outcome, and that the design here is realistically to improve that person's performance, not necessarily to reprimand or take something away from them. But with that, I'm not going to let somebody just be disrespectful or have a negative attitude really impede what we're trying to do here, which is this feedback concept. So I would have really said that up front, or especially after the first kind of heavy sigh that he gave when he was really giving out the nonverbals that he just didn't want to be there. So after his response to the question about Gloria, the director should have really reiterated that regardless of the instructor's personal opinion or bias, which he clearly showed by saying that, well, if she's been in several of my classes and she never has any valid questions. And it's like, well, you don't really know that because you didn't hear what the question she was going to have because you weren't really listening, as well as the nonverbals you were putting off to the class were kind of already hostile, which shuts down the rest of the class. So even if Gloria, maybe in your opinion, doesn't have very good questions, nobody else after that was going to ask any questions anyway because they didn't think they were going to get an answer. So probably that reiteration to that instructor at that point in time would have helped, because it not just shows, well, it hurts that one student, but you're actually putting a vibe out to the entire class that they, can't ask you anything they can't deal with, or they're not get the answer. So with that, it could really impede what they're learning, and we're not really sure if they're learning it. Also, as an instructor, you're responsible for understanding if they're getting information based on the questions they're asking. So maybe she doesn't ask any valid questions, or in your opinion, but that means she's not learning that concept, and you need to re-explain that to her even if she didn't get it all from the manual, because she's not getting it. So the personal bias in that situation needs to be pulled back. The instructor really needs to be reminded that, like the customer, the student comes first, and that needs to be something that he really starts to figure out. Now, I would hope that this company has some sort of a demerit system or performance documentation, so that way, in the event that there's an instructor who's not up to par, they can document and get where they need to go. And I would inform this instructor that, hey, this is a demerit or whatever point system they utilize, and this is going to be documented in that case. If this kind of behavior kind of keeps going, we're going to have an issue. I would also inform them that as the director, I'm going to be sitting on a few more classes to see if things change. Once again, to end on a positive note, I would reiterate that we're here to help, and we're just trying to improve the situation, not remove you from your current position. So take a breath, maybe just reevaluate some of the things that you do, and we'll move on past this. And I think that honesty is the key here, and that's the most effective way to get across to that person. For instructor number 2, I would reiterate that, yeah, it's okay for you to be pleased with yourself after documenting a good job. I mean, I'm obviously telling you did good. The class seemed like it went almost flawless in accordance to what she said. However, I would reiterate that the students do come first, and the reason I say that is because of her immediate response to, when am I going to get promoted? It's like, that's fine. If you're chasing a promotion, that's okay. But at that point in time, I really am going to ask that person, what are you looking for out of a promotion? Are you looking for simply a salary raise? Are you looking to coach and teach other instructors? What are you looking for? And that way we can kind of re-gauge and position that person's career in the direction that it needs to go based on her own personal goals or professional goals. So based on what I've seen and the information we have in front of us, I would retell her we are going to handle a few more evaluations and see how things progress, see if there's any dynamic that changes between different students in the classes, and then at that point in time we would re-talk about a promotion possibly, if that was what she was really looking for. So for instructor number 3, Bob, right away it's evident that he has some self-confidence issues based on the nonverbals he was giving, the dramatic eye roll, things like that. And after that dramatic eye roll, I probably would have, something similar to trainer 1, informed him that this feedback is designed to help, and they really probably wanted to pay attention and don't automatically shut down just because it has a negative connotation built up in his mind. When he said something about the fact that he isn't a very interesting person, therefore people don't like him, I would reiterate, even from a positional but still heartfelt situation, that just saying that you're not interesting isn't enough of an excuse, or isn't an excuse really, for not improving upon your shortfalls. You still are ignoring a very basic teaching concept, which is eye contact with the students, as well as student engagement when they ask questions. Simply looking at the book and just using the excuse, well, I'm not interesting, isn't acceptable. In my opinion, I would tell Bob we were going to begin shadowing, or that we were going to, as of right now, start taking him off of the podium or teaching in that aspect, and let him sit in on some classes almost to shadow other instructors. The benefit to this is maybe that Bob can see what other people do as opposed to his methods, and he could possibly find his own solutions. I would still inform him, though, that if no improvement took place or anything like that, we would be removing him from a training environment for the sake of the learning of the students, because it's not very conducive. But to end on a positive light, I would still tell him, like, hey, but with that, you might be better off in a different position, which we can look into. Something you're a little more comfortable with, because you feel like you're a little nervous in front of people and teaching, and that it's not working very well. So with that, that's the training I'd give to, or the advice I give to all three instructors, as well as the director. So that's where I'm at with those. It's really important to remember that training is a critical aspect of human resource management, and that we really need to think of our students first. So even if from a director standpoint, trying to be kind and show concern for our trainers, we need to remember and reiterate to them, the students come first, and they need to have their focus on that.